Hey there! So our regularly scheduled lecture is taking a bit longer than anticipated to finish, so in the meantime, here's a quick homework exercise for y'all to do. And by the way, homework is mandatory. Roleplay is one of those things that so many people tell me that they want to do, but that they're convinced they can't. Baloney, I say, absolute baloney. Anyone can roleplay. You don't need great acting skills or creativity, just a bit of commitment, a willingness to maybe look a bit silly sometimes, and an active Spanko imagination, which I know every single Spanko has. But roleplay tends to also be something I find quite difficult to teach. I'm not an acting coach, and really the best way to get better at roleplay is just to practice. Luckily for me, I happen to live with one of the spanking community's best role players in Stephen Lewis. Seriously, y'all, he's almost too good at it. It's kind of distressing sometimes. And during lockdown and endless evenings of Netflix and chilling, did I use that correctly? I try so hard to still be hip. We came up with what I think is the greatest ever way to improve your role-playing skills. And all you need to do is watch more Netflix, or Hulu, or cable, or Disney Plus, or Prime Video, or BBC iPlayer, or... I don't think I've ever met a Spanko who hasn't been watching a show or movie at some point and thought, wow, that character needs a spanking. Maybe you even thought you might see it on screen. In the world of spanking fanfiction, this is often called a deleted scene, where we all just totally know that Iron Man spanked Spider-Man when he stepped out of his suit on the roof after the boat incident.
None of this would have happened if you would just listen to me. If you even cared, you'd actually be here.
Or how Gibbs absolutely spanked Abby in Bloodbath after she disobeyed him yet again, putting herself in danger.
I'd hate to start smacking you like I do to xoxo.
You wouldn't. You would?
It won't be on the head.
Or how Aunt Zelda from the new Sabrina is just absolutely not taking any of that nonsense. I mean, come on.
Ambrose Spellman, you come here right this instant. You knew. You knew the entire time and you didn't say a word.
But why just imagine it? Why not try it out for yourself? So the next time you're watching something with your partner and one of you thinks, that should be a spanking, hit pause. And do the scene from right where it left off, or maybe from when the characters got home later. You don't need to invent anything. You know the characters, the plot, you even know the reason that they're getting spanked. All you have to do is jump in. And you can do as big or as small a scene as you want. We do this nearly once per show sometimes. We're currently watching Schitt's Creek, and I mean, Alexis and David, seriously.
Or the placement of Alexis's back tattoo.
Alexis has a back tattoo?
Alexis, what have you done to yourself?
And so it's usually just like 20 swats over whatever I happen to be wearing, but sometimes it's more and we'll grab implements or things like that. The key is to not overthink it. Jump into the roles, inhabit the characters, and you don't need to be exactly like the characters to play them either. We sometimes gender flip the characters, or all role play as a different gender, age, personality type, whatever. The whole point is that it's not you. It's not you getting spanked for something you did, it's the character for whatever they did. It's not you doing the spanking, it's the character in the show. Give it a try. The more you do it, the easier it gets. And what's the worst that will happen? Not only is this a super fun way to spend an evening, but it also gives you great practice for when you want to start coming up with your own characters or situations. Maybe you keep the characters from the show, but come up with your own reasons. Or maybe you keep the reasons, but insert yourself or your own characters into the scene. This exercise was obviously originally designed for couples, but could work for any group of people that are together. And it could even work over Zoom if you do a virtual watch party date with your long distance partner, or maybe even by yourself as practice. This can also be a good way to break a vanilla or a kinky non-Spanko into Spanko role-playing by giving them a frequent and relatable example of what you're thinking a spanking scene should look like. The Spanko is going to notice details in the show or movie that the vanilla misses, but do this enough times and they'll start to pick up on the patterns too. So they don't need to be into spanking to know what to do, they just need to think, what would Gibbs do? If you're looking for a few show or movie suggestions specifically that work well for this game, might I recommend literally any period drama ever, or just anything set in the past. Our favorite is the TV series Endeavor, which is set in the 1960s and is what we were watching when we first originated this game. It also just happens to be a really good TV show. Also, any show where the characters like to disobey orders and put themselves in dangerous situations, i.e. every US procedural on TV ever. tends to work well. Or just any show where every character is a brat, like Schitt's Creek or Bridgerton. Give it a go and let me know what happens in the comments down below. What shows do you think would work well for this game? What are you watching at the moment? Seriously, I think you can make this work with almost anything. We've done it with the reality TV show Escape to the Chateau a few times because he thinks the world is unjust if no one gets spanked for her shenanigans. And I mean, he's not wrong. Practice, practice, practice. And let's see if we can't get those roleplay skills up and running. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or found it helpful, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really helps us out. Spanking University is supported entirely by the help of our patrons on Patreon, so if you would like to help further the Spanko education in the world, as well as gain access to extras like monthly live streams and private Q&As, come join us there. Links to join are in the description box down below. And you can find all that information as well as links to our merch at spankinguniversity.com. Until next time, class dismissed.